We've gone hands-on with the new Moto X Style / Moto X Pure / Moto X 2015 in a separate video. Now, it's time to see just what's changed and what hasn't between last year's Moto and this year's. I'm Michael Fisher with Pocket Now, and this is a quick hands-on comparison: Moto X old-timey versus Moto X new hotness. Okay, let's get it out there. The new Moto X is bigger. Substantially bigger. By a half-inch in diagonal screen size and 24% more mass. That makes it look almost as big next to the old Moto X as the Nexus 6 does. And while the new Moto X doesn't feel as big as it is, it's definitely going to be an adjustment coming from last year's offering, which itself took some time to get used to after the first Moto X. Petite flagship lovers, Motorola has moved on, so let's all try to get over it. Oh, and the new display is a much higher resolution, Quad HD versus Full HD, and it's IPS LCD instead of AMOLED. If you ask me, the latter is a downgrade, and the former an unnecessary upgrade. But we'll have to wait for the full review to see how all that shakes out. On the brighter side, a bigger phone also means a bigger battery, 3000 mAh versus 2300 in the older device. The processor gets a bump too, from a quad-core Snapdragon 801 to a hexa-core Snapdragon 808. RAM gets a boost from 2 gigs to 3, and the new Moto X offers an optional microSD card slot, which wasn't available on last year's model. The camera gets some love too, from 13 megapixels to 21, and the front-firing selfie cam also sees an upgrade from 2 megapixels to 5, and it gets a new wide-angle lens and a front-firing flash. Rounding out the relevant media upgrades, the new Moto X finally makes good on its dual face grills. It features stereo front-firing speakers instead of last year's mono. The Moto Maker Suite helped make last year's Moto X one of my favorites for its sheer customizability, and that's been expanded with the new Moto X Style. To the traditional wooden options, Motorola has added textured silicone rubber and Saffiano leather. It's still from Horween, but it's made using a new stamping method that makes it more durable and scratch-resistant. Given how quickly my older Moto X started to show wear, that's great news. Other changes are minor to non-existent. There's improved LTE banding in the new Moto X to support its out-of-box compatibility with any US national carrier, and Bluetooth gets a bump from 4.0 to 4.1 LE. More importantly, for we tactile people, the trademark dimple around back is smaller, but still pronounced enough to find it without looking. And on the software, well, there's almost no change at all. Motorola seems to think it brought enough innovation last year to see it through another whole cycle. And while its voice commands and touchless controls are certainly still very useful, I've seen how poorly some of them age over time, and I'm concerned about the same thing happening this year. The biggest difference of all, taking everything into account, might be price. Whereas last year's Moto X started off at $499.99, the Moto X Style will drop $100 cheaper when it goes on sale this September for a starting price of $399. That's a big reduction in the initial asking price 1 year later, and you're getting much more phone for your money this time around. More importantly, Motorola isn't just making a Pure Edition available this year, it's emphasizing that unlocked, carrier-free phone above all others, which is a significant shift in strategy. We'll see if it pays off, and if the new Moto X is worth buying, when we review it later this year. For more from Motorola's event in New York City today, check out our other videos here on YouTube, and be sure to visit us at pocketnow.com. Till next time, this has been Michael Fisher with Pocket Now, Captain Two Phones on Twitter. Thanks for watching. See you next time.